Hi, my name's Jess Greer, and this is my road to recovery.
All right, we're sitting here laughing, and I'm not sure what we're laughing at, but I tell you, it's good to be laughing.
Yes, it
and this
is.
girl right here said, he's fixing to find out I'm funnier than he is. So I may just pull away from the microphone and let him have it. But good to see you again.
It's good to see you again.
Kat, tell us what's going on.
So, Miss Greer, we come to know each other, gosh, what's it been, 4 years ago now?
It's been over three and a half.
Yeah, three and a
almost
half,
four.
going on 4 years. I got a phone call one day from a mental health facility, and they're like, hey, we've got this girl who wants to come to your agency, but she can't because where she's at currently won't let them call you. I was like, oh my gosh, like why? So anyway, long story short, we're able to get some things taken care of, and she comes into services with us, and she comes in and she does everything. Again, she's got this list, and she's just checking on it systematically. She knows what she's going to do with her life.
Yeah.
And then she tells me, I'm just going to come back here and work. I'm like, well, you got to be gone from here for a minute to come back and work. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, you said a minute. I ain't going to be
Yeah.
gone that long. So she goes and does what she has to do. You work at some other places, and then it's time to come back to work for us. And she comes in, and she's now been working for us for how long?
It'll be 3 years in October.
That is unreal to me.
Yep.
That much time has passed. So, so Miss Greer, whenever she first comes into
Yeah,
services,
this is what I
we
wanna hear
start
here.
talking. I'm like, okay, so like, what got you in the spot where you need treatment? Let's talk. Are you got any legal things going on? And she does. And it's the first time I've ever encountered this. And you want to tell us a little bit about kind of what got you in this situation
Yeah.
to sit in this seat?
Okay, so the trouble I was in was actually different than the trouble I had before, but I felt like I had to mention the trouble I had before. So the trouble I was in was possession in Kentucky of narcotics, but what they caught me with was fake drugs I was trying to sell to somebody and rip them off so I could buy real drugs. But the trouble that I was in before that, I'd made it all the way to the end of my paper, and 2 weeks before the end of it, I'd caught these charges. But I was charged with the use of a weapon of mass destruction on federal property.
I was scared to death when she first told me that. I was like, I need to just sit a little closer because I need to know what that means.
Yeah, I still want to know what it means.
It was a couple of dozen Molotov cocktails in a train tunnel.
God.
Yeah. And
What was the plan there?
Well, there wasn't a plan. Like, I was just being ridiculous. Like, there was nobody to be hurt, but I never really considered the train tunnel to be federal property or, like, infrastructure. So whenever I got charged with it, like, it got, I don't know, sensationalized.
Mm-hmm.
And I made national news. I was labeled a domestic terrorist, and
not even
God.
really thinking.
Yeah.
And I think that this just puts into to retrospective. We don't know sometimes when we're under the influence, you don't realize. Like whenever when you're in one location, just because it was near a tunnel, a train, then you could have shut down some like mass transit stuff.
Oh, yeah, something bad could
absolutely.
Yeah,
have
and
really
you don't think
happened.
about it in
Yeah.
the moment, and I don't think that was ever your intent, was it?
Oh,
and
no,
it just
no,
kind
no.
of, but by the time one person heard the story, then it kind of
It
grew
made
and
sense
grew.
at the time, though, didn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Well, and like, I mean, I would have never considered like weapons of mass destruction to be a charge I would have ever earned in my life. And I mean, I was a troublemaker, but like
That's taking
Like,
it
it
to
was-
another level, isn't it?
creative on whoever decided to charge me's behalf, because every time that I went to court, like they filled the jury box with media. And I remember sitting like in cuffs and stuff thinking, just try to look sorry and sad. And whenever they're taking that many pictures of you, like there's going to be one where you just like look like a hardened criminal because you can't control it or whatever.
So your mom and dad, I mean, small town America,
Yes.
Is where
they
we're
were
at.
stopping her in the grocery store.
So families, my family, they took the brunt of it. Like I was incarcerated for the majority of it, but Mike, my mom and dad, Austin, they all took the brunt of my crimes because I was put up somewhere. They're the ones that had to look at people in the face every time it was on the news and things. So I can't imagine how you felt with
It
having a
was
child
wild.
and then your parents and all that. I'm sure that was pretty
Which-
rough.
Look, Mom, I'm on TV for something that's not a felony.
There you go. Better reasons today,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yes.
So yeah, so that set the course, and then I was clean after that. And when you're labeled that, I remember like applying at Walmart and I got 4 letters in the mail telling me never to apply again. And after 2, I was like, dang, Walmart, this is harassment. I might not just ever even come in there after this.
I'm telling you.
4 letters?
4 different letters. And like as they were rolling in, I was like, okay, so that one was just like confirming it. I got 4 of them saying never apply there again because I'd been charged with that.
How does one overcome that? I mean,
Well-
what was the next step?
Getting on drugs was the next step pretty much. And then like it was just like a descent into madness. So when I come into recovery this time, I came in from the ICU. I had flatlined for 2 minutes, and I was on machines for 7 days in the ICU before I come to treatment this time. And I was sick as a dog and weak as a kitten. And I went to like a facility where you didn't get your phone or nothing for 6 months. Like it was like no contact while I tried to get better. And I got as much as I could from that facility. There was some good staff there that really helped me. And then I needed to be able to get a job and stuff. And the facility that I was at is no longer with us. Like they were, I don't know, like stifling me out. And I knew I wanted to work in treatment too. So I went to my therapist and I was like, I don't want to leave because I don't have a job. I don't have a car. You know, I'm going to end up back exactly where I started. So she was like, I've heard of this place. It's really good. We'll call them. And we called Kat. And Kat answered and I talked to her and they come and like smuggled me out of that place. It was the craziest like experience. I had everything packed back from my past, and they come and I pretty much like dived in the van and got here. And I remember the whole time I was here, all I ever did was want to work in treatment because like I was in a place where like for the first time everything bad that I'd done like had value, right? So like my rap sheet was my resume. I know it sounds weird,
No,
but
it
like
doesn't.
No, this
You
is
know.
music to my ears. I already know. Yeah.
so that's what happened. And I was like, you know, I just want to help anybody that I can. And no matter how bad it is, like I'm a domestic terrorist. So, I mean, like how bad can it be, you know? They set my bond hearing on 9/11 and my bond doubled. So, like, I wish my lawyer would have caught that, by the way. I felt like it was obvious.
It just kind of, and it snowballed, and it just kind of goes to show you, right? Like, of course, not trying to downplay the fact that you did you did break some rules. I mean, there are laws that were broken.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that it was the law you set out to break,
No.
and then that's what transpired, and then it just kind of, it rained on it, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And you could have gone 2 ways. I mean, you could have just used that as a crutch to keep on going, or you did the next right thing. It's like, okay, like, what can I do with this? What can I turn this into?
Yeah, because
what
that
can I
ruined
do?
my life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, what they see is they see the decisions you've made, but they don't see like the choices you had.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a mistake, and then all of a sudden, the choices I had after that, every time I tried to make the right decision, those choices weren't there no more.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the decisions that I made with the choices that I had, which was, you know, becoming a criminal and getting by that way. And of course, that never ends up well for anybody.
No.
I'm lucky I'm not dead. If it was fair, I would still be in prison or, you know, dead or anything. But, like, I'm lucky because I was showed mercy. Now, the wreckage of my past is great. So I did entry-level jobs in treatment for the first 3 years that I worked in treatment. But there's never been a job underneath me. Like, I always got to come to work. I always, like, when I was a transporter, I wanted to be the best transporter we had. Everybody was on time. I treated everybody well. I took out the trash. Like, there was a loophole recently with peer support where I could climb up into peer support. And I love it. It's the first time I've got to do something, like, a little bit more to help the community. But, like, even doing that, because there's nothing underneath me, my first week I got into a car and I noticed like we was like 100 miles out from an oil change. Well, I've been a transporter the last 2.5 years, so I was like, well, while I got a minute, I'm going to change this oil, you know,
She's
and
great.
take it back
Yep.
to the transport office because there's literally nothing below me. I get to come to work. Like, I love everybody I work with, and I get to work with people just like me and see them, you know, reach their full potential.
think it's great just to see the fact too that whenever it wasn't a loophole, it's just like it's almost like made at the right time. I always say that people fall into the right positions exactly when they're supposed to, and I can't wait to see what happens when as you get to work with so many different folks. Because I know me, whenever I first got my felony charges, I thought it was the worst thing ever. Like pattern of corrupt activity. What in the world am I ever going to do? Like how am I ever going to get another job? How am I ever going to be able to take care of myself or my family, have a career? I never thought that was possible, and then it becomes possible. And so I can't wait, Jessica, to see these folks that you get to interact with on a daily basis, and just to hear your story and some of the things that you were able to overcome. It's going to be amazing just to see the impact that you have on the recovery community. I absolutely love it. And you've not stopped. It's like from the day that you decided that this is what you were going to do, nothing, it didn't matter. Whatever fell in front of you, you just kind of, you came out, you went over it. And I think that it's simply amazing. And it's people like you that make recovery sought after because they see you doing it. And it's just simply amazing to me. And I can't imagine how your family feels. I'm sure your mother and them are just excited just to see you.
I recovered so hard this time. I'm the only addict in my family that my one sister works at the detox, and my other sister just got her CDCA. So we all went to treatment.
That's me too. My whole family did. I was like, yeah, we're all going. We're all about to get us a job in rehab.
Did you ever think that you would become a role model?
No. At best, I thought that I would be somebody that looked out for people in the streets and teach them how not to go to jail. I'm like, well, don't go here. It's, you'll get arrested or something like that. So it's weird. Like, I came up with, like, a clique of people, and, like, we were criminals, but we looked out for each other. And when I came to treatment, they called it gang mentality a lot, and I really hated that term. But I learned after being here for a long time that when you do have gang mentality and all of that gets stripped off of it, the positive of that is a community mindset. And because of that, and because I looked out after people that were struggling like me and hurting and, poverty stricken, that I was actually like perfectly fitted for something like this. Like, I'm less likely to abandon someone if they mess up. I'm more likely to run to them and like show them choices because of stuff like that.
And it's people, her resume is perfect for whenever I call, and I call them woo-woo trips, because I've called them all the time. Like, hey, guys, what are you doing? They're like, oh, God, what do you want, Kathy? Where are you about to send me to? Where are you sending me to? Who am I going to go pick up? But then, they know, and they can, and usually new clients, they fall right in because they feel like they can open up and talk to folks that's had some type of a history and stuff. So, but it's been an amazing venture to watch Miss Greer here just kind of just blossom and grow. And I can't wait to see professionally where you take this peer support thing, because everything that you've been handed, you've made it tenfold more. You've given back way more than what it was when you got it. So I cannot wait to see a year from now what this looks like for you.
I'm recovery on rims today.
You watch your
So.
Okay, you are funnier than that. Get out of here. You're not taking my job either, so don't even think about it. You're awesome. What a great story. I hate to say great, but it is because look at the outcome.
I know.
And you said one thing that resonated with me so much is, and I don't remember the exact terminology, but, when you dive off, it's like diving off into the abyss. It's like seeing that whirlpool out on the lake, and you just wonder what's down below it going, and then once you get in there, you can't get out. It's a wonder any of us got out. By the grace of God, we all made it to the other side, and with people like you, there's going to be a lot more that'll figure out a way to get out of that whirlpool too. Fist bump. Get out of here.
All right. Thanks.
Best. Go have a great day. See you.